The Seattle Seahawks had first and goal from the 1-yard line. 26 seconds left.
I'm sorry, but I can't believe the call.
Me neither.
I cannot.
Marshawn Lynch, one of the most punishing running backs in NFL history, standing right there on the sideline. They didn't hand him the ball. They lost the Super Bowl, and nobody has ever fully recovered from it. To understand how brutal this moment was, you have to understand what the Seattle Seahawks were. They weren't just a good team. They were a machine, a suffocating, physical, mean defense that went by the name the Legion of Boom. Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas, Cam Chancellor. These dudes didn't just stop offenses. They broke them. They humiliated them. And on offense, they had a running back named Marshawn Lynch who ran like he was personally offended by every single defender who got in his way. Beast Mode wasn't just a nickname, it was a lifestyle. The year before, they had dismantled the Denver Broncos 43-8 in Super Bowl 48. It wasn't even a game, it was a public execution. Peyton Manning's record-setting offense showed up to the Super Bowl, and Seattle made them look like a high school JV squad. It was one of the most dominant performances in NFL history. So entering the 2014 season, the question wasn't whether Seattle was good. The question was whether anyone could stop them from doing it again. The answer for most of that season was no. Seattle finished 12-4. The defense was still elite. Lynch was still a nightmare. Russell Wilson, just in his third year, was developing into one of the most dangerous quarterbacks in the league. Everything was clicking, and when the playoffs started, the Seahawks looked like a team that was built for this exact moment. But it wasn't easy. Round one, they handled business against the Carolina Panthers. That was fine. But then came the NFC Championship game against the Green Bay Packers, and I'm telling you, this game almost ended everything. Seattle was down 19-7 in the fourth quarter, 12 minutes left. The crowd at Lambeau was going crazy. Green Bay was on the verge of sending Pete Carroll's team home early and booking their own ticket to the Super Bowl. And then the Seahawks did something almost nobody in NFL history had ever done. They came back. 28 unanswered points. Russell Wilson threw 4 touchdown passes in overtime. The comeback was so sudden, so stunning that even the most diehard Seattle fans couldn't fully process what they were watching. It felt like fate. It felt like this team was destined to be back on that Super Bowl stage.
Here's Wilson keeping it for the touchdown.
On the other side, the New England Patriots had punched their ticket the way New England always does, methodically, ruthlessly, and with Bill Belichick making everyone else look unprepared. Tom Brady was going to his 6th Super Bowl. 6th. The man treated the Super Bowl like a regular season game. He had been here so many times that nothing rattled him, nothing fazed him. The matchup was everything you could want. Dynasty versus dynasty. The Legion of Boom versus the Patriot Way. Beast Mode versus Brady. February 1st, 2015, Glendale, Arizona. The whole world was watching.
Brady caught, touchdown, Julian Edelman.
Super Bowl 49 played out the way the best Super Bowls always do. Back and forth, lead changes, and just enough chaos to keep your heart rate elevated for 4 straight quarters. New England jumped out early. Seattle came back. The Patriots answered. At halftime, it was all tied at 14, and the entire football world settled in for what was shaping to be an all-timer. The third quarter swung to Seattle. Lynch punched in a touchdown. Jermaine Kearse was making plays. Wilson was managing the game like a veteran. The Seahawks took a 24-14 lead in the fourth quarter, and it genuinely felt like this was going to be their night. Then, Tom Brady happened. Because of course he did. That's what Tom Brady does. He doesn't panic, he doesn't rush. He just slowly, quietly, surgically takes apart whatever is in front of him. 2 touchdown drives in the fourth quarter, a go-ahead score with just over 2 minutes left. Patriots 28, Seahawks 24. The Seahawks got the ball back with 1:06 on the clock and no timeouts.
Oh, did he wind up with a football?
And then Jermaine Kearse made a catch that had absolutely no business existing. Juggling the ball off his hands, off his knee, off his leg, falling backward on the New England 5-yard line, and it never hit the ground. It was the kind of play that makes you think the universe has already written the ending. The kind of play that feels like a sign. 1st and goal from the 5, 26 seconds, no timeouts. Marshawn Lynch is on the sideline, the most powerful short yardage back in the game. The guy who literally bounced off 9 defenders on one run 2 years earlier and called it the Beastquake. The guy who was born for this exact moment. This is where the story turns. Pete Carroll sent in a play. It wasn't a handoff to Lynch. It was a slant pass to Ricardo Lockett. Now look, before you lose your mind, let me be fair here. The reasoning wasn't completely crazy. Seattle had no timeouts. If Lynch ran the ball and didn't score, the clock would keep moving. A quick slant thrown to the back of the end zone. If it's incomplete, the clock stops and you get another shot. On paper, as a clock management decision, it made some sense. But football is not played on paper. Malcolm Butler, a cornerback who entering that game had barely played meaningful NFL snaps, read the route, jumped in front of Lockett at the goal line, intercepted the pass. Just like that, it was done. Patriots 28, Seahawks 24. New England wins the Super Bowl, and Pete Carroll stood on that sideline with an expression I will never forget. Disbelief, devastation, and the slow, creeping realization that a split-second decision was going to follow him for the rest of his life. I swear, watching it in real time felt like a glitch in the simulation. It didn't seem real. You're sitting there thinking, there is no way, no possible way that just happened. But it did. Marshawn Lynch didn't say much. He didn't have to. Here's a guy whose entire identity was being the man you hand the ball to when everything is on the line. Beast mode, built for that moment, and he never got a chance. Russell Wilson wept openly on the field. He was 26 years old. He had just driven his team down the field in the final minute of the Super Bowl. He did his job, and he watched it all unravel on one play that wasn't even called for him. He carried that weight for years. And Pete Carroll, 2 national championships at USC, architect of one of the most feared defenses in NFL history, a guy who was considered one of the great coaches of his generation, suddenly had the most criticized play call in Super Bowl history attached to his name permanently. He has never fully escaped it. In interviews over the years, Carroll maintained the logic was sound, that analytically it was the right call. But you could always hear something underneath the words, something that never got fully resolved. The way you talk about a decision you've made peace with, but never stopped thinking about.
I had to get my mind right so that I could take on what I was going to have to do. And that was to face everybody and give them some perspective so that we can move ahead. It was the worst result of a call ever. The call would have been a great one if we catch it. It would have been just fine and nobody would have thought twice about it.
Here's what separates this from other gut punch losses in sports history. It wasn't a bad bounce. It wasn't a fluky injury or a referee's call that went the wrong way. It was a choice, a conscious, deliberate choice made by a human being in the most pressure-filled environment in American sports. And the result was catastrophic. And the cruelest part of all of this, the Seahawks never got back. Lynch retired after the following season. The offensive line broke down. The roster turned over. The salary cap caught up with him. A few years later, Russell Wilson was traded to Denver. The Legion of Boom, that terrifying, dominant, once-in-a-generation defense, was gone. They had 1 yard, 1 play, 1 chance to lock up back-to-back championships and cement themselves as one of the greatest dynasties the NFL had ever seen. And it slipped away on a slant route. Sports are brutal because they are honest. There's no going back, no appealing the result, no chance to rewind 26 seconds and make a different call. The scoreboard is the only truth that matters. And on February 1st, 2015, the scoreboard said the Seattle Seahawks fell 1 yard short of immortality. Malcolm Butler's interception will be replayed for as long as football exists. Pete Carroll's call will be debated forever. And Marshawn Lynch, standing on that sideline, helmet on, ready to go, will forever be the symbol of a road that was never taken. The Seahawks were minutes away from a dynasty nobody could touch. Then this happened. And the game, like it always does, moved on without him. Drop a comment. What's the biggest joke in NFL history? We might cover it next.